Good morning to all you beautiful people. My name is Bobby Richardson, and I will be your guide for today. I am a channeler and a seer, and so I'm going to share with you some messages that I have received over the last week. It's been an interesting week, especially for myself, and more to do with my inner journey. And I think this is. I always feel like the canary at the front, at the front of the pack of where, if we're entering a cave, they always put a canary in first to see if it was all good. I've actually had someone describe myself as that years and years ago, and it keeps coming to the forefront of my head. And sometimes I feel like what I go through is something that everyone else can go through. And this week has been a really nice week. It's been an interesting week. It's like at the beginning of the week, I got to a point where everything was becoming icky again. And then instead of reacting differently, I've been taking the advice of all this channeling, and I ended up standing in my power, coming back to my own self-love, and the words that poured out of me to rectify the situation just went so smoothly, which then empowered me, then made me feel a lot better about myself. I didn't feel so anxious anymore about certain subjects, because we all have our subjects that we are anxious about. And then it was like this clarity for the last few days of just enjoying life, like really enjoying my life in a beautiful way. And then because of that, just yesterday, OMG, I was like this clear channel to any question that I asked. Oh, I didn't even need to ask this. All these messages just started to pour through me. And it was almost like this up-leveling of myself and my abilities and everything, just purely because I was taking more of the reins to my own reality. And I love that. And whatever happens with any of us, as we move and evolve and start to find peace of mind and a better life, and be that guiding light, any of us that take those new steps, when we share them with others and we become that, we can, we just end up helping more and more and more. And so then we're shifting this whole world. So I love that. It was a really nice week in the end. Hey, everybody, I have to put my glasses on to read the chat part. Hey, Shui. Hey, Joe. Hey, Matt. Hey, Maggie. Hey, Jason. Wow, we've got a few people on board this morning for the channeling. Usually I don't have so many in the chat bar for channeling. It's usually for the free tarots on Tuesday. Okay, so I have a mountain of messages that I want to pour through to you, and some of them are just, especially the ones yesterday, are like an up level of, just a massive up level of what I've been receiving. And it's not that they're any better. It's just that it's like a peeling away of layers. And so at the beginning of the week, when I was getting messages, they're more in line with clearing oneself and finding out about, how to ground more dreams and stuff like that. And then yesterday, it became a lot more to do with like specific messages. Why isn't there more tangible evidence of higher dimensions, and the journey of source energy with Earth, with Gaia, that sort of thing started coming through. And it was really interesting. Before that, it was Manifesto message. We are going supernova, which is what I called this, because it literally felt like this week, for myself especially anyway, I just feel like I went supernova myself. So I'm going to start off with messages at the beginning of the week, and then we will talk about them and walk through them, because they're just as important, and we're all in different places within our journey anyway. So it's important for me to bring up whatever they bring through, even if it is still working on self-development, taking the reins of yourself. I think that will always happen because an inner journey is all to do with self-development and having a different perception or a different awareness, understanding of what our reality really is. And I think that's a lot of the messages that come through me, because we are taught to only get tangible evidence outside of ourselves. Okay, let's start because my battery says it's low. So the first message was, this world is our playground. It's not a prison. It only feels like a prison when we try to overprotect ourselves through fear. As any creation through fear only reflects more fear into your reality. This is because the universe only works as a vibrational match to your understanding of your reality and what you want to confirm to yourself as being real. Obviously, if you're focused in on the fear game, even if it's I've got to fight that fear, you end up manifesting more fights. And you end up manifesting more to be afraid of. But why? Because the mind wants to confirm itself as being right. The mind's got that ego, right? It wants to confirm itself. I've got to be right here. So I can see this pattern happening in my past and it's coming up again. Oh my God, it's going to happen again. And even if it wasn't going to happen or it didn't have to happen, you would make it happen by the way you speak, the energy you carry, the people that you run into. You will find a way, your reality, yourself, your soul, who you are will find a way to confirm that is right, because it's the main denominator of your energy momentuming forward into that situation. Where if you instead switch it up and say, oh my God, this reality is a beautiful playground. Look at the adventure we can have. How can I want to be shown how I can play in this even more? How can I make this more of my adventure rather than or not even talking about a prison, like moving towards that reality, and then watching the domino effect of your energy bringing you in front of people that are playful and have more scope on adventure, or, want to dive into the esoteric more, or whatever it is that you're really into, that you want to play in this with. The next message was more on why sometimes we lead ourselves to accidents and illnesses. So if we can't live a happy life, then this existence will implode, as the soul is love and will always move back towards its authentic self. It will leave a body that is depressed or living in anxiety. This might manifest as a disease. Actually got me to say dis-ease, a disease, or the unconscious part of yourself could direct you towards an accident. The soul is actually entangled energy running through your body. It is your body. It is the spark within every cell and the program held by the DNA. That's interesting. It is the spark within in every cell and program held by the DNA. When unhappy, the soul will, however, withdraw this light from those cells and so the cells will no longer seek light and love, as your cells, which make up your physical body, vibrate as to confirm your mind's reality, which, if in a depressed state, will become tense. So then your body will become tense, leading you to exhaustion and sickness. Then the soul cannot reside within the cell, as the soul is love at its purest form. So with the soul slowly leaving your body, it could eventually lead you towards a disaster. And that's why it's so important at the moment to move towards seeing this life as a beautiful life and the wonder and the magic that's within it, seeing this as a beautiful playground, because we have been, and especially now, the powers to be kind of thing have been pulling us into as many fear games as they possibly can to try to keep our vibration low, to stop this beautiful realization that we are love going on a journey. And the more that we love who we are, the more that this journey becomes lighter, and then we don't end up manifesting the life that they're trying to program us to manifest, which is a life of misery, fear, and scarcity. So, yeah. The next message I got is about manifesting dreams, which kind of goes, it's nice, it kind of goes with that. Enlightens the messages. When a dream becomes entangled into your reality, you are about to ground or manifest it. How to entangle one's dream is to surround oneself with many things that feel like or reminds them of something to do with that dream. This slowly becomes your norm and at the same time changes your neuron paths until enough of you, body, mind, and soul believes it can be grounded, which can happen overnight sometimes. And then in reflection, your dream has come true because you have fully grounded it into your own beliefs. Like you can ground it into your beliefs overnight. Sometimes the physical side has a momentum that it has to catch up to, but there's no reason, if you're not absolutely clear with your dream, that it can't be a very quick thing that happens overnight, where all of a sudden the people that you want are ringing you up and asking you to join in with their team because they can feel that vibrational meet, or all of a sudden the certain person that you've been having, odds with, just feels a lot lighter with you because you feel lighter about yourself. And it's to do with bringing all those things that you wish into your reality, and surrounding yourself, like I say, surround yourself with as much of it as possible. Go on YouTube, watch the programs that you want to bring into your reality and keep watching them. It's not to say that you, like, if you want to have a bit of a night of horror or something, like if you're really into horror and that sort of thing, but just see it from a point of view of as a producer of the movie, rather than get entangled into the horror of it all. But I would stay clear. If it starts to feel, when you're watching, starts to feel real, starts to feel icky, starts to feel then turn it off, because it's not, you don't want to bring anything ridiculous into your life that's not conducive with where you want to go. I mean, each and every one of us has a journey that we want to take, and we are moving towards that journey. But are you grounding or manifesting or surrounding yourself with the things that you love, or are you grounding and manifesting the things that kind of excite you in that moment? But if you really truly, had it in your reality, would it be conducive to who you are as a soul? I think when it comes to horrors, you'd say no. But any case, we all have our own journey, and I would never judge anyone for anything that they want to watch or do or whatever. I've watched horrors as well myself. So this is a free playground to explore and enjoy. But just be aware as you start to raise your vibration into more awareness that you are the creator of your reality, that what you watch could be something that you manifest as well. So be aware of the feelings that you have through the movie. And then the next message was Manifesto message. We are going supernova. And so interesting, because I got that just a few days before, probably the day that I started to shift my reality. And then, and then everything started to change for me as well. Yeah. Anyway, humanity is being kept to a level of awareness that is well below the norm of what the human mind can experience. Excuse me. I'll say that again. Humanity has been kept to a level of awareness that is well below the norm of what the human mind can experience. Those in charge will keep this kept for as long as possible, because once humanity has stepped into the areas of hidden truths disguised as ludicrous, they will move into humanity will move into such profound wisdom and gifts that no other entity will ever be able to limit them again or limit us again. So yeah, I like that how they say humanity steps into these areas of hidden truths. Once we step into our areas of hidden truths disguised as ludicrous. So truths have been kept by calling them ludicrous. And that's kept our energy in a state of only physical is real, because anything outside of that isn't, that we've been told it's not real. And so will be perceived by the outside world, which we're only looking for the outside world's approval through this program, as ludicrous. And that's where the power of them becomes overtaking of us, and we are victim to that reality, where there's a lot more to this, where humanity can move into many more higher frequencies that have a lot more wisdom and empowerment through the love of self. And in that, we would never create the reality that we've created here, because we would never allow ourselves to be dictated to by those that have scrambled their way to the top by treading on others. Because when we listen to someone that is scrambled to the top by treading on others, we are in agreement with them to say that that's okay for them to do that to us and to others. And that means we are part of the problem. So this is more to do with humanity understanding where their power really truly lies, that we have been, our imagination and our direction or our focus has been held hostage by others. But is it hostage, or is it that we allowed ourselves to be dictated to by these so-called people of power that really are coming from a massive lack themselves? Because if you weren't in lack yourself, there's no way that you would ever need to stand or crumble, somebody else's reality. You'd never need to stand on somebody to get to the top of the Eiffel Tower kind of thing, to get to the top of the tower, to say, look at me, I am that, all of that. When you're in power, you don't need to do that. You are just walking on this world, seeing it as a beautiful playground and enjoying your life. You don't need anyone under you to be that, to feel that power within you, that you can shift your reality whenever you like. Because if something comes at you that you don't like, then you just imagine a better one and you focus in on that. So just as much as what we've been focusing in on the bad stuff that they have been programming us to do. So the shift is always within us. This is the shift. It is within us. The shift has always been within us. Sorry, I just thought that there was another message after that one, but there's not. We're going into these questions. Hang on. So the next thing that I was taught was yesterday, and next message that came through was yesterday, and they just kept on bombarding me with messages and messages and messages. And I loved it because, that's who I am. But it was almost overwhelming as well, because we were getting into some really interesting things. So one of the messages that they were bringing up, I feel like having a title here, right? But we're live, so we can't have a title. Ta-da! We're on to the next supernova message. Is why isn't there more tangible evidence of higher dimensions? And I actually went home, raced home, and recorded this one because I wanted it in real time. But I think we might talk about it here now. It feels right. And I see what else they bring through. Sometimes when I bring up a message after the fact, it's like I have to remember it with my logical brain, and then they start coming through again. So just be aware of that. Why isn't there more tangible evidence of higher dimensions? Because, oh my gosh, this was such a powerful message. I'm just feeling into it again. So they were telling me that their vibration is at a certain vibration, and so is humanity. Humanity is in a physical world where we have tangible existence that can be, that we can actually have separated. As you know, I can't put my fingers through my other fingers. We have a separated limitation held by the logical mind, where this is a solid object that I can hold, and if I break it, it smashes into 1,000 pieces. It has a certain energy that it can only withstand a certain amount of friction, and so forth. And everything has its own pliability, but also solidness about it. Where they live, and most souls reside in the fifth dimension and up, because it's almost like humanity is grounding into a more physical reality to form this beautiful playground that we've formed here right now on Gaia, on Earth. But it's a more denser reality, and we've had to learn throughout the generations, many generations and evolution of humanity's life, we've had to learn to ground more love into, and that grounding more love means that we love our reality even more, and that ends up being more soul coming through. Even in the Atlantis Lemuria age, there was more of a non-tangible existence. It wasn't as physical. And so if the mind wasn't held in that focus, it would disappear like light. It was more a light-based scenario. So the tangible physicalness of those realities, or in the realities that these higher beings are living in, are more fleeting mind-like. And they said that we can meet them in our dreamlike state, in alpha, theta, delta, but that's not as tangible as the physical beta reality of the logical mind creating this physical world. So it's like asking something to be grounded into this world without, if it doesn't have love associated to it, it cannot be grounded, because there will be a separation between the ones of higher and higher frequency that are holding that love essence. They would have to come down to our level to be able to play in this playground, which is what's happened with many star beings and souls that have come straight from the stars. They had to physically come into this world, and that means they had to lose themselves just like everybody else. And so their world ended up being, just as physical as everyone else's, but also with that, not as much love within ourselves, not as much soul coming through, not as much wisdom coming through. And so the more that we move into allowing the soul to come through, but still hold the logical reality of the physical world, the more that we can do this, the more that we end up being able to entangle into their reality, because we can flip our minds from beta to alpha, or beta to theta, or even beta to delta while we are still awake. And this is how channeling actually channels. It's a person someone who's channeling can actually flip their mind from a beta state to an alpha state very quickly. beat us, the waking mind or the logical mind to shush and allow these other frequencies to come in. And then we start to realize that those messages that are coming in, they are something of advantage to us, that we can carve or create a world now on this planet that is also of wisdom of self, connected to our soul, which is connected to many other souls. So we don't need to have any guidance from a physical person anymore that is coming from their own lack, because everyone that hasn't found the love within themselves is coming from their own lack or their connection to their soul. And so we end up having more wisdom pouring through us, that of where to go, who to trust, all those sort of things. The wisdom of tangible grounding solutions and writings and stuff like that is presently in the moment working with the energies that's residing with the person asking for the message now, rather than somebody who's written it back in 1900 and then it's copy and pasted, and then that message comes to us at school, and then we're like following something that isn't even in the same frequency as the moment that we're living now, because it was written back in 1900. And so it keeps us capped into that reality of believing that we are smaller than what we are. But when we are connected back into the soul and moving with these higher benevolent beings that have way more observational wisdom to our reality, we can then align with the solution in the moment, always in the moment. And so the solution to the puzzle can actually shift as we shift and peel back our layers as well. So we become wiser within ourselves of how to navigate through this world. We don't have to listen to somebody that's coming from their lack back in 1900 or 1800 and 1945 or whatever, when they poured through that wisdom, and kudos to those that did tap in, like Tesla and Einstein, and that kudos to them that did actually expand their reality out. But even their wisdom is not conducive to the messages that are coming through in real time now for each and every one of us when we open up ourselves to loving this world more, which ends up sparking ourselves with more soul or light, which ends up having a clear connection to even more wisdom coming through in real time. Yeah, so there's that. Oh gosh. So yeah, there's just all this information that's been pouring through me. Thank you, KWCMP. A personal session is the links down below. Just go on my website, Codes to a New Reality, and then you can have a one-on-one with me. So yeah, what else do we have here that we can bring through to help guide us in these new energies? So these new frequencies, these new energies are literally expanding our evolution, our progress out of just seeking outside ourselves to inner knowing and wisdom pouring through our souls, to vibrating more in a love reality where we're now learning to create or carve a path that exists already in a higher frequency where others actually do exist. And it's going to be an interesting transition because you know how you just bump into someone all of a sudden on the street and you just kind of get that feeling, oh, I really like you. They could have been living in a higher frequency for quite some time. They could have been living in this love frequency for quite some time, where you've just peeled back enough of your layers to have to have bumped into them, and then you're like, oh wow, a new person in my life, and they feel like they're been living their life of wonder and curiosity for a while, where you've gone from, oh my god, I've had a bit of a poo-poo time and I finally found the love of myself, and now we're like meeting in this place where we can carve and create something new. So they might look like us, those that have been residing in higher frequencies, but what they're residing in is they're carving the path that they love. You'll start to see people are saying, wow, my upbringing was just, my parents loved me so much. You start to have people around you that say things like that say that they've had a beautiful childhood and they love it, and all of that sort of thing, because they've already been working in the higher frequencies, and they're finding their success and carving their path without even realizing it, that there was people that were in this really diabolical war-like situation, that they felt like they had to fight their way through everything and all of that sort of stuff. They would be surrounded with people that are more inducent to their vibration. Not to say that they won't lose themselves and stuff, but there are those that are what we call benevolent beings that are residing on this planet in higher frequencies. And it's almost like if you went to, I don't know, some sacred site, and all of a sudden there's people that lived in that sacred site that lived in harmony with each other. And you're like, wow, there's an actual town that lives in harmony with each other. They really love each other and support each other. And these things start to develop in your reality. They start to come in your reality. And you might not even have to move. It could be that you're still in the same physical location, but all of a sudden your neighbors left because, I don't know, their house burnt down. Actually, we bought this place, and then the house burnt down next door to us. That sounds a bit, anyway, and just interesting that they brought that up, and I'm like, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. Okay, who else have we got over there? Hey Liz, hey lady, hey JP, Jennifer, good to see you guys in the chat bar. If you do have a question that's related to, evolution of our consciousness moving forward and all that sort of stuff, I don't mind if you ask in the chat bar either. So that's a lot of information come through. There was another thing that came through yesterday. I might tentatively touch the subject, but I'm still integrating a lot of it, but it does just purely make sense. Because I might do a full-on video with this one, and it was the journey of source energy with Earth, and that is so interesting, or the journey of oneness, or the journey of grounding this reality, creating this reality, the journey from oneness perspective, God, whatever you want to call it, prime creator, creating Earth. And through the plants and the animals and the evolution of itself, moving more grounded into this reality. It was really interesting. I will say this much. It started off with, they were showing me plants, trees, and they first, because I have met oneness, I've experienced being one with oneness. When I did, it was a vortex, a donut-shaped vortex called a torus shape, and it was the journey of love itself bursting out of love and going on this journey from the center out on an adventure further away from love, and then carving its way back into love again, always residing back into love. It will always come back to that. And we're right in the thick of coming back to love of ourselves right here, right now, because source energy wants to carve or create something completely new through humanity's consciousness. And that's beautiful, right? But they showed me plants to be grounded onto Earth, and any other planet really that wants to use as a grounder create or carve a playground, it will always start with like a tree, because a tree has exactly the same energy as the Taurus itself, that oneness is. And so, but the only thing is, with a tree, it cannot move around and create in this reality. It is a tree, it stays still. And that is one of the first, or a plant, it stays still. That is one of the first things to be developed. And that's oneness, or yourself, or soul experiencing a grounding into a physical reality, which is more solid. And so it just becomes the tree that stands still, but has that Taurus where it's got the roots grounding into the planet, and then it will grow into the tree. And then they always show me the Taurus going this way for some reason, but you can flip it upside down or whatever. It doesn't make any difference, because it is what it is, just a consuming and creating path. And so the tree ended up being, where it ended up growing out, having the leaves or the apples or whatever would fall to the ground, have nutrients. So there's the adventure that's happening further away from the core of itself, and then be picked up by the roots again, and then sucked up as nutrients into the center of the tree. And then this is where we're at, where humanity is at, because in 2020 they showed me Earth. They showed it the other way around, but they showed me Earth entering into the vortex, coming back to self-love. So humanity's consciousness is coming back to self-love on the 28th, 7th, 8th of February, and no, was it February or March? God, February, I think. Anyway, just when everyone got returned home. You know what I mean, the big hoo-ha that happened in 2020. But that was because powers to be felt that shift of us entering into this vortex, and they started to scramble for something to try to control what was going to come, because they couldn't see past the light. They can't see past the new creation where we're going, and they have their own agenda of trying to hold on to just the physical world, or being the only reality, but they haven't found within themselves the core essence of oneness, the love vibration of who they really truly are, and their magnificence carving this new path. And so they're constantly seeking outside themselves for others to control, or have show them that they are all that mighty and powerful. You take money out of the system, and we start to collaborate, and our true wealth of abundance is trusting ourselves to trust others, because then we don't need money. We just need the fact that we trust that we're walking this path, and we'll always come into contact with somebody who wants to do the work with you to build the house, and wants to help you, that sort of thing. And then we end up trusting each other. Our true wealth is our collaboration of love and trusting each other. And then anything outside of that, because we're already filled our bucket up with love for ourselves, anything outside of that is non and void. And so all those powerful people, so-called powerful people with the jewels and the gold and the money, that have all that, they have nothing, because they don't feel it within themselves, and they don't trust themselves walking this path unless they're controlling another. Oh, I like that one. That one was a good one, right? That's really cool. I really feel like this like absolute clear vessel at the moment. It's beautiful, and it's like a new playground for me, because I can feel so much more connection. It is beautiful, and I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful. That's all right, Black Diamond. Yeah, that's on Tuesdays to read cards. I do a free reading at the end of a general reading because tarot's, it was just fun. It's fun, and they always tell me follow your fun. So I don't need tarots to read people. I absolutely do not. but I use them because it's a good go-between. Yeah, so pop back on Tuesday if you want black diamond. Okay. See what else. Is anything else going to come through from them? There's a sorry, they're just showing me things. They're showing me that the world, and it really does depend on who you are, where your perception is as to how this next stage of your life is going to evolve. If you're constantly grabbing for somebody to give you advice all the time and not seeking within yourself, like the advice that I give is always look within yourself. That's such a profound statement right there. But I can help guide, but in the end, you have to do the work, and that's absolutely that's an absolute. In the end, you guys are going to have to do your own work. How you feel about yourself, how you feel in your own mind, how you feel about your own body, how you feel about the reality that you've carved, the people that you've allowed in, how you feel. That is, in the end, going to be way more, a way better reflection. You are carving your next path. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. I just feel like, yeah, I think I'll leave it there. And don't forget, like I said, Tuesday's tarot reading. And also I've got a brand new video that I've been working on like crazy this last week. It ended up, I think it's 4 minutes and 44 seconds long. It just happened that way. So it's just a profound, beautiful video. Has an affirmation at the beginning of it that you can speak to yourself, and then it goes into some a profound channel message, but always with the music and the beautiful imagery and stuff like that. I love creating those, and I probably always will, because I get excited when I get a message. Sometimes I want to honor and respect it so much that I actually create the video to give that message even more beauty and power and all of that. So look out for that next message, and yeah, we'll see where everything else goes from here. Interviews and so forth. Don't forget, I was on Jeff Mara's show, and I was on Typical Skeptic podcast. If you want to go look me up there. About a month ago, I was on Kevin Moore's show again for the 3rd time. So yeah, just look out for me, and please look out for yourself, most importantly, because you are the one creating your next reality and your next path. Thank you so much. I just got asked a question. Do you think Gaia is shaped like a Taurus? Yes, it is. It's that Taurus shape is within all of us, even humanity. Even humanity has we come in, nurture ourselves, it comes out, hello, and it's supposed to go out onto the ground, and then it grows the trees, and then we pick the plants, and then we consume them. So everything has this. This is life. This is what life is all about. Source energy. It is this Taurus adventure. Definitely Gaia is that as well. And that's why I think that they are now finding there is hole in between, that there is a definite vortex of energy that goes through Gaia. And you can even see it on the I don't think it's called the Schumann resonance, but you can see it on these graphs where they have the energy that, I'm not a scientist and I don't know the words for it, but the graphs that they show where the energy is coming in like that. Absolutely, yes. everything has that, because that is what we are to begin with. We are source energy, love going on a journey. And so it has to come back to love itself, and it has to have a vessel or a journey where it goes out away from love, separation, and then come back in. And even they showed me the actual journey of humanity's consciousness was of that as well, where we went through the Atlantis Lemuria age, learning all about our right hemisphere, and then we learned all about our logical hemisphere, and now we are coming back into the vortex of love itself. So we've done the duality creation, and now we're coming into finding ourselves as the spark of love. And what do we want to create next? Ooh, that's exciting, right? So much more to life. Okay, love you guys heaps. Until next time, bye.